In a quiet small town somewhere in modern-day America, where mornings began with the soft hum of cars and the smell of coffee drifting through the streets, there lived a young man named Jake. Jake was 22 years old. From the outside, his life seemed easy. He lived with his parents, had no real responsibilities, and spent most of his days lying on the couch, scrolling endlessly through his phone or playing video games late into the night. But inside, Jake was stuck. He had dreams once, big ones. He talked about starting a business, getting fit, making money, becoming someone important. But those dreams slowly faded under the weight of one powerful habit: laziness. "Tomorrow," Jake would always say. "I'll start tomorrow." But tomorrow never came. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. Jake avoided everything that required effort. He quit jobs after a few days. He ignored opportunities. Even simple tasks felt like mountains to him. His parents grew worried. "You're wasting your life," his father said one evening, his voice firm but tired. Jake shrugged it off. He always did. Deep down, he knew it was true, but facing it felt harder than ignoring it. One morning, everything changed. Jake woke up to the sound of raised voices. His parents were arguing. Bills had piled up. Money was tight. His father had lost extra work hours, and the pressure was growing. For the first time, Jake saw something he had never noticed before: struggle, real struggle. That night, his father sat beside him and said quietly, "I can't carry this family alone anymore." There was no anger in his voice, just exhaustion. That sentence hit Jake harder than anything else ever had. For the first time in his life, Jake felt something unfamiliar: responsibility. That night, Jake couldn't sleep. He stared at the ceiling, replaying his father's words over and over. He realized something painful. His laziness wasn't just hurting him, it was hurting the people he loved. And suddenly, tomorrow didn't feel safe anymore. It felt dangerous. The next morning, Jake did something he hadn't done in years. He woke up early. It felt unnatural. His body resisted. His mind whispered excuses. "Go back to sleep. You'll start later." But this time, Jake didn't listen. He forced himself out of bed. That was the first battle, and it was harder than anything he had ever done. Jake got a job at a local warehouse. The work was exhausting. Long hours, heavy lifting, strict routines. Every day he wanted to quit. Every muscle in his body screamed at him to go back to his old life, but he remembered his father's tired eyes, so he stayed. Days turned into weeks. Slowly, something began to change. Jake wasn't just working, he was building discipline. For the first time in his life, Jake started to feel proud of himself. It wasn't about money, it was about effort. He began waking up early every day. He started exercising. He reduced his time on his phone. He began setting small goals and actually completing them. The lazy boy who once avoided everything was now chasing growth. Months later, Jake wasn't the same person anymore. He saved money. He learned new skills. He took responsibility for his life. One day, his father looked at him and smiled. Not a tired smile, a proud one. And in that moment, Jake realized something powerful. Hard work doesn't just change your life, it changes who you become. The lesson. Jake didn't become successful overnight, but he became something far more important: a man who takes action, a man who shows up, a man who no longer waits for tomorrow.